Buddha, the first story that awakens me. The beginning of calmness and awakening. The world we live in is always busy. As soon as I open my eyes, things to do fill my mind. Getting ready for work, taking care of my family, going to school, doing work. Endless notifications. New news on my phone. Countless thoughts and information shake and drag me along every day. But sometimes I suddenly think about this. Where am I going now? What am I looking at and living for? Am I living my life as myself? At such times, very briefly but deeply. If you are quiet, you can see it's so simple. But in this simplicity lies the power to change lives. When we are too busy, too noisy, and running too fast, we don't know what's in our hearts. We don't know what we want. And we just get dragged around and spend the day. Silence is the first key to stopping such a life. The Buddha said, everything comes from the mind. Only when my mind becomes quiet can my life become quiet. If your mind is confused, you feel anxious, depressed, and lonely. No matter how good the environment is, so stillness is the beginning of awakening. Awakening is not a special ability. It is not something that can be done only by becoming a monk or going into the mountains. Awakening begins simply by noticing myself, examining my mind, and creating a quiet space within myself. So you might ask, how can we create stillness? Here's a very simple story. One day, a disciple asked the Buddha, "Buddha, I get angry too often. If someone says just one word, my insides start to boil, and my heart starts to tremble. How can I make this mind calm?" The Buddha smiled quietly and said, whenever your mind wavers, ask yourself this: where is my heart staying now? And just look at that heart. Don't hold to it. Don't push it away. Just look at it. The disciple who heard this did not understand it at first. But from that day on, whenever he got angry, he asked himself, where is my mind now? Then something amazing happened. There was a brief pause before I got angry. And in that pause, I felt my anger gradually subside. Silence comes at just such moments. When I look into my mind and stay awake, silence comes to me naturally. In that silence, we come to know, oh, I'm not angry. I'm just a being with such feelings. Oh, I'm not anxious. I'm just an anxious person. From then on, life starts to change. Little by little. When you open your eyes in the morning, don't just move automatically, but stop for a moment and ask yourself this: how am I now? Where is my mind? This one question can completely change your day. Silence doesn't come from outside. Silence is like a flower blooming quietly within me. That flower can bloom for anyone, at any time. If you are ready to give yourself a little break now, The Buddha said this. Look after yourself. He who examines himself will be happy. Anytime, anywhere. Awakening is not a special talent. Awakening is not a special condition. Awakening is your attitude of looking into my heart right now. At this very moment. Well, shall we take a moment today to look into our hearts? A little more? When you wake up in the morning, when you drink your coffee, when you walk down the street, when you talk to someone, stop for a moment and ask me, where am I staying? Now, that little question will make you calm and awaken you. In that calm, the beginning of stillness and awakening, the first step, is always within you. One day, a certain nose said this. People look too far away for tranquility, but silence is actually very close. Stillness begins with just a moment of pause. Those words stayed in my mind for a long time. Our daily lives are very busy. There is no end to things to do. Thoughts follow one another, and our minds are always busy. But even in our busy daily lives, tranquility is definitely there for us. If we just stop for a moment, the stillness naturally seeps into our hearts. Have you ever had an experience like this? When the morning sunlight quietly comes in through the window, and you quietly look at the light, your heart becomes calm. For some reason, when you listen to the sound of rain outside the window on a rainy day, and stay in that sound without thinking about anything, the moment when it feels like the world has stopped for a moment, at that very moment you have already encountered silence. At that moment, you are already waking up. The most important teaching that Buddha wanted to convey to us is actually this simple: seeing as it is, and staying here now are the two keys to being awake. People keep wanting a better place, a better situation. We are looking for more perfect conditions. But the Buddha says this very firmly. This moment is the best moment. Why is that? Because only those who are awake here and now can live a real life. The future has not yet come. The past has already gone. The only time to live is now. And in that now, my whole life is contained. In the cup of tea I am drinking now. In the breath I am taking now. In the conversation I am having with the person I love now. In the steps I am taking now. All of life is contained. Only when we realize this do we become awakened people. Awakened life is not a special life. Rather, it is a very ordinary and very simple life. But there is a peace and happiness hidden within it that cannot be expressed in words. The Buddha said this. He who is awake alone among those who sleep. Well then, shall we give it a try today? Let's start practicing a very small awakening right now. At this moment, look at my hands. Think of how much these hands have done for me so far. They are the ones that have cooked my food, held my loved ones, worked, written my writing, and lived my life. Look at those hands and take a deep breath for a moment. A tiny bit of calm will bloom within you. That's awakening. Stop a few times a day, even if it's just for a short moment, and take a deep breath. Feel me alive, here now. As you increase that time to once, twice, 3 times a day, your whole life will begin to quietly awaken. And then you will know. The silence has always been within me. So waking up was ultimately about seeing my own mind. The first story that Buddha tells us is the beginning of calm and awakening. It is not far away. It's not like you're special. It's just this moment. Pause for a moment. It starts with a very small courage to look at myself. Shall we muster up that courage today? And shall we watch together as your life changes little by little in that courage? Life wakes up so quietly. From stillness to awakening. From awakening to the real me. The Buddha's story is always with us. In fact, the first encounter when I try to find peace and stay awake is my own mind. I want to be quiet, but my mind is noisy. I want to stop, but my thoughts won't stop. Why do I have so many random thoughts? Why am I so anxious? Can't I rest? Why? When that happens, once again the Buddha's words come quietly. The mind is like a cloud. Clouds float freely across the sky, sometimes black and heavy, sometimes white and light, sometimes fast, sometimes slow, but above all those clouds, there is always a blue sky. Our minds are like that too. Worries, fears, sadness, and anger come up. All those feelings are just clouds. They are just fleeting things. As I look at those clouds, I think, this is what I'm thinking right now. This feeling is passing by now. If we can only look at it that way, we are already awake. The Buddha also told us this. Let what happens, happen. Let what stays, stay. Let what disappears, disappear. Life just goes on like that. Don't try to hold on to it. Don't try to push it away. Just look at it and observe it. That is true silence. And in that silence, true freedom blossoms. When our minds are noisy, we keep looking outside for solutions. Listen to music, watch movies, meet people, go shopping, eat delicious food, and feel better for a while. But when I'm alone again, my heart starts to waver again. Because the fundamental answer is not out there. True peace comes from within my heart. True tranquility begins only when I examine my mind. It can start with very small exercises. For example, try practicing like this anytime during the day. When I'm eating, I think, I'm eating now. When I was walking, I thought, I am walking now. When I'm tired, I think, I'm feeling tired now. When I'm happy, I think, I'm feeling happy now. This brief awareness will keep you awake. At that moment, the mind becomes a little calmer, and life becomes a little stronger. If you practice it, often and little by little, staying awake will become a habit of your life. And that habit will take you to a whole other world. The Buddha also said this: look deeply into life. Then, wherever you are, that place will become your practice space. This is a really good saying. No matter how noisy the city is, no matter how complicated the crowd is, no matter how difficult the situation, the moment I examine myself and become aware of my mind, that place becomes a place of quiet practice. That place becomes the space of awakening. So it doesn't have to be a special place or a special time. This is something you can do right here, right now. When your mind is complicated, don't blame it. Just look at it and say, oh, this is how I feel right now. That one word will change your life, little by little. The Buddha called people who live like that awakened people. For a moment, I want to ask you a question. What are you looking at now? How are you feeling right now? Where are you staying now? In that question is your stillness, your awakening, your peace. The story that Buddha first wanted to tell us. That may be a very simple truth. Life is in the present moment, and to become aware of my mind in that moment is awakening. So, calmness and awakening ultimately begin in the middle of life. In the midst of everyday life. No matter how complicated life is, if I can stop for a moment today and look at myself, that moment is practice. That time is stillness, and that mind is awakening. I hope Buddha stays in your heart today.